Chuggalos, welcome back to episode 349 of the Brew Crew podcast, your weekly reminder that it's always a bad day to be a beer. On this episode, which I'm super excited to get to, it's a juxtaposition really between two different brewers and how they're portrayed at bars and at bottle shops. Once we get there, you'll see what I'm talking about, but really it's both sides of the spectrum, and I can't wait till we discover these two beers. I'd be remiss, though. I think we missed this on episode 348, and it got brought up again. The number one beer in the United States has been surpassed. It's no longer Bud Light. It's actually Michelob Ultra is the number one selling beer across the entire United States, which is crazy. We knew it was coming because people are looking for low-calorie solutions, while still having that beer flavor. That's why seltzers and alternative drinks are doing so well, because people are looking to curb the carbs, if you will, while giving up some of the taste and craft that's so predominant and that we've covered for the last 8 years on this podcast. So interesting thought about Michelob Ultra. I'm not a fan of it. If it's there and there's nothing else to drink, I'll partake in an Ultra. My go-to beer when I go back home to Wisconsin is Mick Golden Light, which its peers are Miller Lite and Bud Light on that community, but it's only distributed in 4 different states, probably because of the availability and the market dominance that Mick Ultra has. And Mick Ultra is available in all 50 states, but it's just a Mick Golden Light predates Mick Ultra, which is interesting. And if you really get down to the carbs and the calories, there are far better and more tasty solutions out there where you don't even have to. You might give up a carb or two, or a tenth or 2/10 of, or the inverse, a calorie or two, or a tenth or 2/10 of a carb. So really, if you want, do your research. It's available out there. It's just Mick Ultra, has that plastered all over their 6-packs and their 12-packs and everything like that. So take that as you will. People are just being more health conscious, which is always a good thing. Number 2, I was just down at the Barrel House on Friday. Got to hang out with Gimmick Gus and Maya, who both will be at the Advent Calendar build on the 7th of November, which is going to be awesome. They open at 11 o'clock, so hope to see you guys there. Unfortunately, I didn't see Better Matt. I don't know. I haven't seen Better Matt in a couple of months. I think he's dodging me. We text quite a bit, but he's dodging me. What's up with that, Better Matt?
And that's the bottom line.
Because I'm a little bit concerned. But anyways, let's get to our two beers. And I waffled back and forth on how to do this, but really what we should go with is the blank slate. And both of these beers came from the Barrel House, I believe. One just came on Friday, which was the Oktoberfest party at the Dayton Art Institute, which is always a good time. And then the second one we'll get to. But the first one is Maine Beer Company Little Whaleboat. It's an American IPA, and it's 6.5%. Look at that. It's got the bottling date. And again, I don't do the art. That's JT's genre. But again, look at how, and we'll go to their website here once I go with the crack. I love. This is a pint bottle. And when you go down to the Barrel House, anytime that they get Maine Beer Company in, they put it on the front bar because it goes quite quickly, because it's quite a delicious offering. So 6.5, I have no problem drinking this as a pint. It's interesting. Everything that's great comes in a pint. That it's a bottle pint. You don't see these too often. The market availability, just because of how things are stored. Like a pint can doesn't take up any more space except vertical, but a pint bottle is noticeably bigger than a 12-ounce bottle. All right, 6.5. Everyone's like, Matt, why don't you pour it in a glass? You could drink it far easier. Again, drink it in the receptacle that it came in, and much more that Euro style, that thicker glass. So there's a lot more heft to this. If I would ever be in a bar fight, I'd rather have this bottle compared to a 12-ounce bottle. But I'll never be in a bar fight. I'm not built for fighting or loving. I'm just built for drinking beer. That's a tasty offering. So with an American IPA, you're going to get much more of that. The range on an American IPA is far greater. Three Floyds is our second beer. They have the standard when it comes to American IPA, and this podcaster's opinion with Zombie Dust. This is very heavy on the grapefruit, which is one of my favorite fruits. I always say the redder the fruit, the better the fruit. Grapefruit is one of those that gets an asterisk by it because grapefruit is an S tier fruit, and the more grapefruit you can pack into a beer or a pop, I love Squirt. The higher score, the higher the accolades, the more I'm going to pursue it. I know they have a couple more of these at Barrel House. I always have to buy things in twos, so I definitely bought 2 of this. Yeah, even like doing a little bit of research on American IPAs, it says that it could go from pale golden to a reddish. This is going to be much more the pale. I know if I had a glass, you're just going to have to take my word for it. Clean, citrusy. I'm not getting piney or any herbal tendencies to it, but definitely that grapefruit citrus note. Then maybe piney and an herbaceousness after it. But this is perfect the way it is. We always say that it's hard to do a 5 in an IPA. Again, there's probably a few out there. We've probably had them before without being gimmick, like sour IPAs or whatever. But like just a solid, be it a West Coast, be it a New England, be it an American IPA without a bunch of gimmicks in it. This is darn close. Again, Maine Beer Company doesn't slough off when it comes to beers. So that's really something to consider. Let's check out the website while I talk about this a little bit more. All right. So again, Grayscale, I believe that's what you would say, our story. And we've been here before, MaineBeerCompany.com. And again, they're in Maine. 2 brothers, which is awesome. Started Maine, probably the best brewer in the state. I know there's a lot of individuals that in the craft beer community, which is anchored out of Connecticut, which is anchored out of New England. So have a lot of opinions up there. But this is the only the state of Maine. Sorry, Stacy. Oh, that wasn't a good one. Sorry, Stacy. That I can say with confidence, this is the only beer from Maine that I've seen. But they started up a home brew with $300 found on Craigslist. So that's, do you want to be a lawyer or a brewer? I have a friend that became a liquor producer. He was a lawyer and now has one of the finest craft cocktail places in the state of Wisconsin. Outshout to Perlick Distillery. So I guess he's a distiller. Look at how they started. That's a really cool picture. Like that old school, you can't lockpick this door. 2009 they opened. So they've been around 16 years, Math in Public. Lunch is probably their number 1 beer that I've seen. And then, again, short, consumable pieces of information. Let's just check out their beer quick. Again, look how simple that is. White, and then you scroll over it. I've had lunch. Little whaleboat's what we are having today. I've had dinner, breakfast. I believe I've had spring. Awesome. And then find their beer. Again, simple. There's value in this. It's not getting beat up by, a bunch of unnecessary. There's value in it being an approachable, easily consumable website, just like their beer. And just fantastic. Clean, everything. I love seeing that solar. I'll always say that. Freeport, Maine. 1% for the planet. So 1% of everything that they make goes to the planet, which is admirable. Don't beat me up, about the sustainability, but I do like seeing hallmarks of it. Obviously, you start a business to make a profit. There's very few of us that can be altruistic and just do it to better the environment or the places around us. Those that do should be lauded, but everyone in the craft beer community typically does that. So it's nice to see it mentioned, but I don't need to be hit over the head with a 2x4 with it. This beer is an excellent 2x4 on my palate. This could become a daily drinker. And at a 6.5, where West Coast IPAs are typically north of 7 to 8, if you will. So you're giving up a little bit of that ABV, hopefully to sustain a little bit, because that taste, that citrus note, those grapefruit tones, are still here. Man, I'm circling it. You guys know, the Chuggalos know, and we're gonna talk about this beer hopefully on the 7th of November because it's gonna do well off the top rope. I'm writing it down right now so I can both put it in the app and then on the spreadsheet because sometimes I catch myself not doing either one of those, and then I have to holler at myself. Off the top rope, I give this a 4.75. What would make this perfect if they just amped up that more grapefruit without making it a gimmick? You can't make it a grapefruit IPA. I understand that. That's different. Just turn it up to 11. It's at a solid 10 right now. Turn it up to 11. That's the only thing. Minor, 4.75. Pipe bottle, love it. Price point, I'll even, because the sticker's right there, $7.99 for a, you just have to take my word on it. Oh, there we go. There we go. It focuses. That's a solid, for a pint in a bottle from Maine, all the way from Maine. Just think of all the expenses that went into that. What a great beer. And awesome after a workout, too. Okay, beer number two. Beer number two, which I'm really excited for because when I started my craft beer journey, this is a little bit of story time. When I started my craft beer journey, it's namely because of a couple of people. My Outshout to my best friend, Chuggalo Mikey, who is going to be here for the calendar build. We'll do a couple of videos. I got to figure out how to do that now that Skype is gone. First world problems. I think I have it set up how I'm going to do it. And then number two is Chuggalos Aaron. We'll be at the calendar build. And then my mentor, his wife, Chuggalo Karina. They're the ones that I never knew about Zombie Dust. So when I got turned on to IPAs or whatever, Zombie Dust was like probably my biggest leap in my beer journey from what I had been drinking to what I was then consuming. And now it's much more available than when it was when I started my craft beer journey probably 12, 13 years ago. I was still in my 20s, so I'll give myself credit that I was still in my 20s. And I'm going to try to warm this up a little bit because it is a barley wine. And so I'm just going to crack it and let it breathe a little bit. But if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I would have accelerated as much as I did, like going to, maybe nostalgia. I've always been considered a very nostalgic person, but looking back on it, I just think of, those opportunities and being pulled into environments like Outshout to Dayton Ale Fest, which we need to get up and running again, and a bunch of different breweries. And as the Dayton area, as it was coming, with DBC, Dayton Beer Company, and Warped Wing came up in that time, and Toxic, and Branch and Bone, and everything then thereafter. But Three Floyds was the big jump for me, and having Zombie Dust, and anytime I was driving back home, stopping in Hammond and Munster, I guess it's technically Munster, right on the border, in the Chicagoland area, Outshout to Rachel Ray, and just buying whatever I could from Three Floyds because they were just pushing the envelope. So many of the brewers that we've talked about are like 2016 and newer, but even previous to that, 2015, 2014, 2015, stopping there and just filling up as much as I could hold in my Jeep, and then like sharing with people when the opportunity happened. And then it's like the things that you remember on your craft beer journey. Like I'll always remember where I was for my first 120 minute. I'll remember my first Zombie Dust. All of these things, like, that were just hallmarking. Thank God that those beers are still available because they'll always be in my top 10 beers of all time for Zombie Dust, and definitely 120 minute, which is still my favorite beer. So hopefully it's warmed up a little bit. I know I'm going to get a little shit because it's probably not. This is going to be Pillar of the Beasts from Three Floyds. It's not normal. This is a barley wine style brewed with salted caramel, aged in oak barrels, 13.7%. This one is going to be a beast. Let me try to refocus that camera right quick. Oh yeah, sorry last week that the camera froze on everyone. We didn't get any complaints though, so that's good because people are probably just listening. It's more important to have the audio than it is a video. All right, so first taste. Big pull for a barley wine. While that does not hide the booze at all, I'm curious to watch back and see my reaction on that. Barley wines have a persistence or like a butteriness where it sits on the palate a little bit. So what do you typically want on your palate? What do you want to savor? I would say for a sweeter, you want caramel or caramel, however you say it. I know I'm pretty interchangeable with the two. That's something that you want to persist. So I think that's a very educated and highbrow position to put that caramel on the palate and put this, like, now all that's in my mouth, complete alcohol. It tastes like a Werther's Original has been in my mouth. While I ruminate on this one, because it's a 13.7, so I'm going to take some time on this one. We're going to bring up Three Floyd's website. So again, compare the two. I'm going to bring it back, actually. If only I didn't have myself to blame. All right, so we're going to compare the busyness, and this isn't even the busiest, Maine Beer Company and Three Floyd's. Like, look at that. Again, that's the juxtaposition that I did in my preamble, my leadoff. The funny thing is, I didn't have the Three Floyd's in the War Pigs, which is one of their big collaborators. I need to get a better camera that auto zooms. So I'm going to put that, and then I will put that back in the waiting room. So let's go to the website while I fiddle around with that. So you can find out more at 3, just the numbers, floyds.com, again, out of Munster. Sorry, Stacey. That's getting better. From the depths. Oh. So now they have a distillery right next. It's a huge conglomeration when they're there. Choose your beer. That's awesome. Zombie Dust, Zombie Ice, which is great. It's like truth and knowledge, and I would put these at the same level. Gumball Head, way too available in the market. That's one thing I will say, it's played out, but I'm glad that they have something that's nice and approachable for people. Turbo Reaper is very much available now with the cool red can with that dragon on it. Alpha King, this is just like a cool, I haven't been to this website in a long time, and Robert the Bruce, the Scotch style ale, and those are available all year long. They did move Dark Lord Day. Dark Lord Day historically was the last Saturday in April, and now they moved it to the mid-May, and people fly all over the country for that. And look at, I should get myself some Three Floyd's swag. And then the story, I know it's a father and 2 sons. But anyways, I love this website. 96, see, 2 OGs, 96. Like that's, and there's a reason why their market share is undeniable, and how they become a destination. I wish they would open the restaurant back up. There was rumor, we covered it like a couple years ago. I'm just clicking through it. Zombie Dust started in 2010. I'm glad they intensely Citra hop. That's why Citra is the best. And Gushing Undead Pale Ale is a favorite amongst beer geeks everywhere, with stores selling out instantly. That is accurate. You couldn't get it when they sold out. That's awesome. So then the one thing that I wanted to show you when I looked up the beer, let me refresh this because, it's not going to do it for me now. It was like rotating. Now it's going to call me a liar. I thought it was the coolest thing. There we go. That's cool. It's like when JT does the can opener segment, right? That's awesome. Totally crave that. Great websites, both of them, for different reasons. One, like the Metal Edge. My favorite story, quick story about Three Floyd's. I always wanted to eat there, but if you know anything about me, when I get on the road, I am one-track mind. I'm going to get to my destination. I don't want to stop and see the largest ball of yarn, nothing like that. Well, there's nothing around Three Floyd's for me to like stop at. So I'm just stopping at Three Floyd's, checking it out. So we made some time with the aforementioned Aaron and Karina to stop on the way back and to visit the restaurant. Well, the day before, we had an aggressive day. We started at 10 o'clock, with Bloody Marys at Sobelman's, and then we tailgated with my amazing in-laws, Outshout, Chuggalo Todd and Peggy, and just had an aggressive day. And then we went back to the team hotel, and we were aggressive day. And the next day, I was not performing at 100% like I am most of the time. And so the drive from Milwaukee to there was like an hour and a half, a little bit more, I guess. And I went and sat in the restaurant with my lovely bride and Aaron and Karina, and I made it about 5 minutes. I was like, I got to just go back to the vehicle. So they sat there, had a lovely lunch, probably amazing conversation because I wasn't there to commandeer it and destroy anything. And they came out and just said how amazing the food and everything was. And there I was passed out in the vehicle. So we still reminisce about that trip. We're still trying to do the next Brewers trip. Hopefully, Brewers #1 seed in all of baseball. Home field throughout the playoffs. Hopefully they don't screw it up. Go Brewers. Do this one for Uke. That's what I'm going to say. And congratulations. I think JT finished third in our fantasy in the playoffs. So that's a payday for JT. So outshout to JT there. Okay, this beer. Lots of information coming at you today. I think this beer would do better ice cold. I don't need to taste. I know it's caramel. It's caramel. It's a barley wine. It does both really well. The alcohol is the first thing that greets you at the door. It wipes its feet, and then by the time you go to swallow, it's all caramel in the back. You know, in the kitchen or in the family room, it's all sweetness. So they get rid of all of the unpleasantness, if you will, if you don't like that barley wine, that booze, that signature. And by the time they get to mingle and to hang out for a little bit as a fam, it's all the caramel, it's all the sweetness. Even now, I don't have any of the booze undertones, nothing unappealing on the palate. Man, Three Floyds is probably the oldest brewer for me. We always talk about the 450 Drecker brewers that get scored against themselves. Toppling Goliath is the other one that I'd be remiss if I didn't say Toppling Goliath. Man, wow. Off the top rope. It's a good beer. What would I do different? Is the caramel enough to be the hero of the day? Off the top rope, I'm just going to go with my gut. Vacillating between two scores, 4.5. I like it. It's dangerous how much I like this, because if you have a couple of these, you're well on your way. You're ready to set sail, and you're having a good day. It's such an easy drink for a 13.7. Man, and that caramel. It's like, what else would you put into it? What could you? I can't question Mona Lisa's face. I can't question David on what I would change. These marvels, these sustainments. Are they perfect to me? No, but they're worldly, community accepted as perfection and a sought-after attraction. Both of these beers. I know what I would do to that IPA. I don't know what I would do this. I don't know if you don't need to put you don't need to put another gimmick in it, but man, is it good. The Three Floyds gents just killing it up there in Indiana. One of the best things to come from Indiana. That's it for episode 349. I know, kind of a cliffhanger there. Just lots of good. I wish it's October in 2 days, and it's 80 degrees for the entire forecast. A high of at least 80 going a week into October. We better not get shortchanged on fall. I speak for JT on this. I speak for most of the Chuggalos, because most of you guys are reasonable individuals, because you tune into us weekly, you tell your friends, and you're going to be at the calendar build. Fall is more than likely your favorite season. I unequivocally, there's 75% of you. Even Better Matt, who I haven't heard from or seen, I bet fall is pretty close to his favorite season. He'd probably lie and just tell me fall. But yeah, so we better not get shortchanged, mole people. We better not get changed on fall. I'm looking forward to a few weeks of good fall before the weather happens. But yeah, that's it. 349. And as always, cheers.